I'm good. How are you feeling?
Perfect. Really good. Last May, you suffered a leg injury in the Monster of Rock cruise. It was something difficult or easy?
Oh no, it's really bad. I just did surgery 2 days ago.
Don't tell me.
So so I did a little bit of surgery. I need more, but I have to be careful because of the tour. I don't want to cancel the tour. So I got three little holes in my knee right now. ACL.
Yes, but I hope that everything will be fine, Nuno. Really, I really hope.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes. I remember that I saw you in 2017 here in Madrid playing at Garage Sound Fest. And but your last CD, Saudades del Rock, was in 2008. And tell me why the new recording took 15 years. No.
The recording didn't take 15 years. I mean, the recording was quick for the album, but we had other albums done, but they weren't quite this album. We don't like to release music that we don't absolutely love and that we think that we want to share with everybody. So, we just wanted to put out the right album, and this was it. So we didn't want it to take this long, but it happens.
I saw and listened that Queen influences can be listened on several songs in this CD. One is the histrionic vocal parts of Other Side of the Rainbow, with the guitar solo remind us the sound of Brian May. Please tell me about the song, how it was written, how did you do the solo?
Well, I did the solo with my hands for sure. But look, it really, whenever there's an influence like that, whether it's Brian May or whether it's Eddie Van Halen or anybody, it's never conscious. It's not something that I do on purpose. So the songs are just written organically. The solo is played organically. I didn't try to sound like Brian May. I didn't try to make it feel like Queen. It's just those are the things that we grow up with,
But even I thought that another approach to Queen is on Here's to the Losers. And I think that in that song, the approaching is more conscious because of the final choir or things like that, or not?
Not really. The only thing that was really interesting about that was an approach for the Queen side was the fact that they had a song, We Are the Champions. So that's why we did Here's to the Losers. But, in writing those melodies and writing, I could hear the Queen influences, but I didn't say, let's write a Queen song. I can't tell you how many times I say that. I don't purposely copy Queen or copy anything. If it's there, it's there. So it's not consciously at all, to be honest with you. It seems like it. It sounds like it.
Perfect. All the songs are great, apart from Rise, but I enjoy the guitar solo on Thicker Than Blood. And now I have seen that this is an important song for you because the tour will be Thicker Than Blood tour.
Thicker Than Blood. I mean, I think it's for naming it the tour. It was just a cool title. Sometimes you just try to find a cool lyric, but yeah, every song on the album is important to us. And Thicker Than Blood was that song specifically reminds us of kind of our first album as well,
Mm-hmm. How did you write the solo? In general, how did you write the solos?
I mean, most of the stuff is always improvised at first, It's just me just jamming with the track and playing along with the track and trying to let the track guide me and follow, I follow what's there, and sometimes I'll listen back and see if there's something there that I like, but I try not to calculate too much,
I have read that some fans really appreciate The Mask, and one of them considered is the best song in this CD. What is The Mask about?
I think it's probably one of my favorites on the album as well. It might be my favorite actually, but it's basically a sign of the times and what's going on now on social media and everything around the world, where we all are blaming each other for different things, accusing each other. And we're really, at the end of the day, we're very much alike. We're a lot the same, behind the scenes, in secret. We believe in a lot of the same things that most people do, but they don't say it. So, you know, the mask is basically is describing how much we have in common, that we are all sinners, that we are all saints, that we're all rich, we're all poor. It's nobody is special here. But in socials, everybody's yelling at everybody like they're, you know, that they know everything and they're the god. So it's kind of like what's happening with society a bit.
Yes, when I start preparing this interview, one of my first questions was, what were you doing in the last 15 years? But then I discovered that you are really not quiet person. You were doing a lot of things. One is that you are the director of the video clip now here in the stream. And tell me, how was the experience of being the director of a video clip of your own band?
I definitely created, you know, those concepts and you know, directing the band as well, and you know, the visuals. But also the part that I like the most was editing. You know, editing is a big part. So that was the bit that I think is really important, not only as a director, but as well as editing and making it be what you want it to be. It's one of my favorite things to do, actually. Direct visuals.
I thought that it was editing, because editing is really boring.
Thank you.
Yeah, editing is really boring. And you are also the producer of this CD. And tell me, when and why did you decide to work as a producer for your band?
I've been working as a producer for Extreme since the first day this band started. I just didn't know I was a producer for many years, but because I didn't know what a producer did. But I was always doing it. I was always creating, you know, sounds and doing demos and recording things. And maybe there's some other names on some of the other albums as producers, but trust me when I tell you, I was doing a lot of the work, most of the work myself. I just never got the credit for it, you know. But it's something, you know, being a producer is kind of being a visionary, right? You have to have the vision of everything that's going on. So I was always a part of that.
How can the life change from a musician touring around the world to a businessman?
Wow. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not touring as much, but I had, you know, Atlantis is a multimedia company, and it's like we have we have 3 or 4 artists that we're launching. One of the artists right now is opening for Taylor Swift, and he's on tour. And we have a couple of artists coming as well. We have a few TV series that we've produced and we've done that was Hulu and FX and stuff like that. But it's very different. You know, it's making a lot of different decisions, and being a producer in film and television and on albums and being like record company and A&R is very different. It's very different, but I enjoy it. I think it's cool. Yeah.
When I check about the Atlantis Entertainment, I saw the video that you recorded with Steven Tyler for the Muscle Shows, the CD, some years ago. And I remember that when you start as a band, you didn't have a recording, and you were the opening act in 1988 for Aerosmith. What do you remember from these times?
I thought for a minute that was the only fame we were ever going to have. I thought like we were going to do one show with Aerosmith and then have no success ever again. And I thought that would be very cruel in a horrible way, you know? So thankfully that was not the story.
Do you really thought this?
No, I mean, I didn't think it, but I thought, imagine being teased like that, like being shown playing an arena with a band as a local band. And what if we never got a record deal? What if it didn't happen?
You were a member of a long family, 10 brothers. Your family moved to US. Your mother was alone. I cannot imagine the mother along with 10 children. But and you were the last in line, the children number 10. And yes, and I imagine that in that moment, you consider that you must fight with tooth and claw for the success. It was that way.
I think one of the greatest gifts that I had was not only be part of a family, but a big musical family. But and as well as being the youngest, a lot of people don't like being the youngest, but I got to learn so much from everybody in my family. Some of the good things, some bad things, you know, things to do, things not to do, you know, And I think being the youngest, I had a big gift of watching some people make mistakes as well, and learn from those. And I think that was always a big part of my success as well. Yeah, I think I was really lucky. I had good brothers. I had good brothers teaching me stuff. Yeah, look, we're a close family. We're always performing together and doing things together, and we're still a big part of each other's lives. So it's great.
Yes, I really appreciate that, Nuno. Changing the subject, has the monkey on the cover any special meaning?
He's definitely not part of my family, but but he is now. His name is Pakanuga is his name, Pakanuga, and when we were first writing this album, some of the songs were very heavy, for us, Rise and Rebel, and Gary said, "Man, this music sounds like a 700-pound gorilla. It feels like it. So that visual always stayed with me, and I started looking for an image for a long time, maybe a year and a half, and then finally I found him. I found our gorilla, and the reason he's there is I think it represents extreme, and it represents, we're older. The gorilla's a bit older. It's a bit scars, a bit weathered, and but at the same time it's still fierce. The gorilla's still saying, "I might be old, but don't fuck with me," but he's still got a little bit of a smile on his face as well. So I think it's all of extreme within that face.
You have been touring with musicians far from the rock and metal scene, Rihanna, Kanye West, Janet Jackson. And tell me, who do you feel more comfortable with when you are on tour?
Oh, extreme, of course. I mean, extreme is mine, right? But that was playing with Rihanna was amazing, but doing the tours. But one of my favorite moments I had was with Paul McCartney, and having 3 days with Paul McCartney and rehearsals and performing at the Grammys with him was, it's the Beatles, it's Paul McCartney, it's the greatest of all time. So that was really special. That was the best. Me and Paul talked for 2 or 3 days. It was good.
For years, you have in your back the story that a lot of people considers you that you are the heirs of Eddie Van Halen. And at the beginning, you say no. Other times, you say that you consider maybe a responsibility. But how do you see this now after all these years?
Look, I think I still feel the same way. I think when somebody like Edward changes guitar that much, I don't think there will ever be anybody, not me, not anybody else, that is gonna take that throne, take that throne there. But for guys like me who were influenced by him, the best thing we can do is, keep that torch alive, keep the guitar playing alive, and hopefully, keep passing it on to other generations as well. We definitely don't want guitar to go away in that way, and we want people to keep inspiring younger generations to play. So I'm hoping at the very least that's something I can do, on behalf of Eddie Van Halen and other,
When you were recording those CDs, did you thought that there were points in common?
I wouldn't be playing the way I play if it wasn't for Edward Van Halen. I wouldn't be playing the way I'd be playing if it wasn't for Brian May or Jimmy Page or Randy Rhoads or, Neil Schon or, Elliot Easton from the Car. There's so many guitar players that make up a part of who you are. Steve Lukather, Steve Vai, Yngwie Malmsteen. All these guys are influences.
Are you working on a solo CD right now?
I have some music and I have some things. I'm never going to do a guitar album, solo album, but I always do stuff with like songs like I did with Schizophonic years ago. But, I'd like to do another solo album like that of just music and things that I like,
Do you speak Spanish?
Sí, hablo español. No hablo español.
No. Sí.
No, eu falo português. Sou português.
Yeah, I know.
I obviously understand, Spanish, but I'm sure I'm not very good at it. But
and tell me, are you the most important musician in Terceira Azores?
No, the most important one is Louis Bettencourt.
Yes.
Luis, he's the most important. Oh
Your
yeah,
brother?
without doubt. The most important one is my brother Luis. With he's a much better guitar player than I am.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Okay, but
Yeah.
I will take it for granted because you say it, okay? Yes, this was
Okay.
my next question. Does your brother continue the musical tradition in your family?
Yeah, like look, he's the one, he was my first guitar hero. He's the first one that inspired me to play guitar and to be a musician. So and he's still an incredible player. You know, but he's still there doing it. We're always trying to do some stuff together, things like that. But yeah, it's there's a big family, so we do a lot of things.
Yes, I will check the music of your brother, Nuno. Nuno, do you know where are the songs you recorded with Steve Perry?
I can't find them.
No?
I can't find them. Seriously, I can't find them. I know Steve probably has them, but I don't know if Steve's going to answer my phone these days. I'll have to try. But yeah, I for some reason we can't find them. I've tried. They got lost when we moved, but I know he has the masters. I'm sure that he has copies of it. So maybe one day he'll release it.
Maybe one day. I will be waiting for these recordings because I'm
Me too.
also, you too?
Me
Yes.
too.
I'm a deep fan of Steve Perry, along and in Jordan and everything. So thank you very much, Nono, for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you.
You too, man. Thank you so much. It was a really good interview. Thanks for all the great questions. Great interview. Really
I
well
hope to
done.
see you in Spain so
Oh,
soon.
you will. You will. You will.
Thank you very much. Bye.